My dear friends, in today's world, women are not waiting to be saved, they are already saving themselves. They are not waiting for someone to build a castle for them. They are busy building their own empire. A strong woman is not defined by how loudly she speaks, but by how firmly she stands, no matter how strong the winds of life blow. And when such a woman chooses to share her life with a man, her expectations are not about money, luxury, or social status. They are deeper, more meaningful, and more transformative. Today, let's reflect on 3 things strong women expect from men. And if you truly listen, gentlemen, these are not only expectations, they are opportunities. Opportunities to grow, to connect, and to become the best version of yourself. The first expectation is respect. Respect is not about standing up when she enters the room. It is about standing up for her when she is not in the room. A strong woman expects a man who values her voice, her choices, and her dreams. Not someone who tries to shrink her light, but someone who helps her shine brighter. Imagine a flower in full bloom. If you pour poison instead of water, will it continue to bloom? No. Respect is the water that keeps love alive. The second expectation is emotional support. Strong women may look like warriors on the outside, but even warriors need a place to rest. They don't expect men to fight their battles for them, but they do expect men to stand beside them in the battlefield of life. It could be as simple as listening when she speaks, not to solve her problems immediately, but to hold her heart with patience. Remember, sometimes silence heals more than solutions. And the third expectation is growth together. Strong women don't want men who stay stagnant like a stone. They want men who evolve like a river. She doesn't want a man who says, "This is how I am, take it or leave it." No, she expects a partner who says, "I am willing to grow with you, learn with you, and become better with you." A relationship is not 2 people staring at each other. It is 2 people looking forward in the same direction, walking hand in hand, growing together. Gentlemen, please understand, when you offer respect, when you give emotional support, when you commit to growth together, you don't just win her love, you win her admiration. And that admiration is the greatest fuel a man can ever receive. And ladies, let's remember, your strength is not a wall to block people. It is a bridge to connect with the right people. A strong woman is not hard to love. She just refuses to be loved halfway. So, in conclusion, strong women don't expect perfection. They expect presence. They don't expect a superhero. They expect a man who is human, humble, and willing. Friends, if we live with these 3 values, respect, emotional support, and growth together, we will not only create stronger relationships, we will create stronger families, stronger communities, and ultimately a stronger world. Thank you. When we talk about the first expectation of a strong woman, respect, we must understand that this single word carries an ocean of meaning. Respect is not a mere gesture. It is not about opening doors or pulling out chairs, though those acts of courtesy are beautiful. Respect is deeper. It is invisible yet always felt. It is the foundation of every meaningful relationship. Without respect, even love becomes fragile. With respect, even the smallest bond can flourish into something extraordinary. Think about it. When a strong woman says she expects respect, she is not asking for something extraordinary. She is simply asking for recognition of her humanity, her individuality, her dreams, and her dignity. Respect means acknowledging that she is not an accessory to a man's life, but an equal partner walking alongside him. Respect is when her voice is not dismissed as too emotional, but valued as meaningful. It is when her choices are not belittled but supported. In our daily lives, we see countless examples of how respect transforms relationships. Imagine a workplace where a woman presents an idea in a meeting. A man who respects her does not interrupt, does not try to claim credit, and does not look down upon her contribution. Instead, he listens, acknowledges, and encourages. That simple act of respect makes her feel valued, confident, and motivated. On the other hand, if her ideas are constantly brushed aside, she will slowly withdraw her energy, even if she is capable of much more. Respect can make the difference between a workplace filled with growth and a workplace filled with silent frustration. In families too, respect is the thread that holds everything together. A husband who respects his wife does not see household responsibilities as her job alone. He understands that partnership means sharing, not only sharing chores, but also sharing dreams, emotions, and burdens. When he respects her sacrifices, when he appreciates her contributions, he builds a home filled with harmony. But if he takes her for granted, if he belittles her role, resentment begins to grow like a seed of poison. Respect is the water that prevents such poison from taking root. Consider another simple example. A young woman shares with her partner that she wants to pursue higher studies. A man who respects her ambition does not respond by saying, "Why do you need that? Just focus on home." Instead, he encourages her, saying, "I believe in you, go for it, and I will support you." That one sentence of respect can empower her to chase her dreams with renewed strength. Respect is not about control, it is about liberation, giving the other person wings, not chains. Strong women do not demand respect because of ego, they expect respect because it is the oxygen of a healthy relationship. Without it, suffocation begins. Respect is about little actions, listening without distraction, acknowledging effort, speaking without insult, trusting without suspicion. These are simple but powerful gestures that breathe life into love. When respect is absent, love can quickly turn bitter. You may have seen relationships where there is constant criticism, comparison, and dismissal. Even if there is affection, it feels hollow, because what every heart craves is dignity. When respect is present, even silence feels warm. When respect is absent, even sweet words feel empty. Strong women expect respect because they themselves are givers of respect. They know what it feels like to honor someone's worth, and they seek the same in return. They are not looking for grand gifts or promises, they are looking for everyday acknowledgement. Respect is not shown once, it is practiced daily. It is in the tone of voice, in the patience of listening, in the fairness of treatment. Think about nature. A tree grows strong and tall when the soil respects its roots by nourishing them. If the soil dries up, the tree withers, no matter how much sunlight it receives. Similarly, relationships wither without respect. Love may be the sunlight, but respect is the soil. Strong women expect men to be that nourishing soil. There's also another layer. Respect is not only about what you do in her presence, but also about what you do in her absence. Do you defend her when others mock her? Do you speak of her with dignity when she is not around? That is the real test of respect. A strong woman expects that her worth will not be diminished when she cannot defend herself. In the journey of life, strong women don't want men who worship them like idols. They want men who treat them as equals. Respect is not about putting her on a pedestal, but walking side by side, hand in hand. Respect is when you don't make her feel small for her weaknesses, but help her rise with her strengths. Ultimately, respect is not about her alone, it is about the man himself. A man who respects a woman reveals his own character, his own depth, his own values. Disrespecting her does not lower her worth, it only exposes his. Strong women know this truth, and that is why they expect respect. When we talk about the second expectation of a strong woman, emotional support, we must understand that it is not about rescuing her, solving all her problems, or carrying her burdens on your shoulders. Emotional support is about presence. It is about standing with her when the world feels heavy, about being the calm in her storm, and about assuring her that she is not alone in the journey of life. Strong women may appear unshakable on the outside, but inside, they too experience pain, doubt, and fear. They do not expect a man to fight their battles, but they deeply value a man who chooses to walk beside them while they fight their own. Think of it this way: even the tallest mountain does not stand alone. It is supported by the solid ground beneath. In the same way, a strong woman may be the mountain, firm, unyielding, and magnificent, but she needs the ground of emotional support to stay rooted. That support does not weaken her strength, it magnifies it. Emotional support can be as simple as listening with your full attention. Many times, when a woman shares her struggles, she is not looking for an immediate solution. She is not asking for advice on how to fix everything. She is asking for understanding, for compassion, for a space where her emotions are heard without judgment. Imagine a woman coming home after a long day, exhausted and stressed. If her partner responds with, "You always complain, just deal with it," she feels dismissed. But if he gently says, "I hear you, it must have been tough today, tell me more," she feels seen, valued, and comforted. The problem may remain, but her heart feels lighter. That is emotional support. Strong women often carry many roles: professional mother, daughter, friend, partner. They juggle responsibilities with resilience, but resilience does not mean they do not get tired. A man who offers emotional support becomes the safe place where she can let her guard down. She does not need to wear her armor with him. She can be vulnerable, knowing that her vulnerability will not be mocked or exploited but respected. That trust is priceless. Consider a simple everyday example. Imagine she has a goal she wants to achieve: starting a small business, writing a book, or learning a new skill. Along the way, she faces setbacks, maybe criticism, maybe her own self-doubt. A supportive partner does not say, "Why are you wasting time? Just give up." Instead, he says, "I believe in you. I know it's hard, but you're capable. Keep going." Those words may not solve the challenges, but they give her the strength to face them. Emotional support is like fuel. It does not remove the roadblocks, but it gives energy to keep driving. Sometimes emotional support is not about words at all. It is about presence. Sitting together in silence, offering a hug, holding her hand when she feels low. These small gestures say more than 1,000 speeches. Emotional support is often unspoken, yet deeply felt. A woman remembers not the advice you gave, but the way you made her feel in her hardest moments. It is important to remember that strong women are not asking men to carry their weight. They are asking men not to add to it. They want encouragement, not discouragement, patience, not pressure, kindness, not criticism. Life is already full of struggles. Emotional support means making home a place of peace, not another battlefield. Think of a plant in a pot. The plant grows by its own strength, but it still needs sunlight, water, and care. Without these, the plant may survive, but it will never thrive. A strong woman is like that plant. She can survive on her own, but with emotional support, she thrives, blooms, and spreads her fragrance to the world. Even in difficult conversations, emotional support plays a role. When conflicts arise, a man who reacts with anger or coldness closes the door to connection. But a man who listens with empathy, who says, "Let's try to understand each other," builds a bridge instead of a wall. Strong women expect this kind of emotional maturity because true strength is not about shouting louder, but about listening deeper. When a man offers emotional support, he is not only helping his partner, he is also strengthening the bond of the relationship. Trust deepens, intimacy grows, and love becomes more resilient. Challenges come and go, but the assurance of support creates unshakable stability. Strong women expect emotional support because they know life will not always be smooth. They do not dream of a man who eliminates all storms. They dream of a man who will hold the umbrella with them when it rains. They know their worth and their strength, but they also know that life is richer when someone shares the journey, not to lead it, not to control it, but to walk beside with loyalty and care. At its core, emotional support is about one simple truth. Be there. Be there when she celebrates, be there when she cries, be there when she doubts, and be there when she dreams. Its presence is powerful. It tells her she is not alone, that she is valued, that her emotions matter. And that is all a strong woman truly expects. Not perfection, not grand gestures, but simple, steady, heartfelt support. Would you like me to expand 3 growth together? Next in the same style, also around 800 words. So the whole speech feels complete and balanced. When we speak about the third expectation of a strong woman, growth together, it is perhaps the most beautiful and the most profound of them all. Growth together means that a relationship is not a destination but a journey. It means that two people are not standing still, holding on to old habits and rigid ways of thinking, but are willing to walk hand in hand through the changing seasons of life, becoming better versions of themselves along the way. A strong woman does not expect a man to be perfect. She expects him to be willing to evolve, to learn, and to rise together with her. Imagine 2 trees growing side by side. If one tree continues to grow tall and spread its branches while the other remains stunted, soon the balance is lost. One will overshadow the other, and harmony will fade. But when both trees grow together, their roots intertwine, their branches support each other, and together they create shade, beauty, and strength. Relationships work in the same way. Growth together means no one is left behind. It means celebrating each other's progress and lifting each other during setbacks. In daily life, this expectation shows itself in small but meaningful ways. For example, If a woman is working on her career and learning new skills, she does not want a partner who mocks her ambition or says, "Why do you need all this? Stay the way you are." Instead, she hopes for someone who says, "That's amazing. I'm proud of you. While you grow in your path, let me also work on improving myself." That mindset creates balance and respect. Growth together is not competition, it is collaboration. A strong woman wants to share her life with someone who is not afraid of change. Life is never static. Circumstances change. Responsibilities grow, challenges appear. If one person insists on staying the same while the other is evolving, conflict will arise. Growth together means both partners keep adjusting, learning, and rising to meet life's new demands. It might be learning better communication, managing finances more wisely, developing patience, or even adopting healthier habits. Growth is not just about professional success, it is about emotional, spiritual, and relational maturity as well. Consider a couple who, after years of being together, face a financial struggle. One response could be blame and bitterness. The other, stronger response could be to say, "This is hard, but let's learn together. Let's find new ways, let's adapt. Let's support each other until we rise again." That is growth together, not running away when storms hit, but learning to sail through them side by side. Another daily example can be found in personal habits. Suppose she starts practicing meditation or fitness to improve her mental and physical health. A man who is growing together with her may say, "I will try this too." Let's encourage each other. The journey then becomes shared and both benefit from it. But if he laughs at her efforts, dismisses them, or refuses to improve himself, the distance between them grows. Growth together is about keeping that distance small by walking the path of improvement side by side. Strong women expect growth together because they know love alone is not enough. Love gives sweetness to a relationship, but growth gives it strength. Love is the flower, but growth is the root. Without growth, love may wither when faced with difficulties. With growth, love becomes resilient, adaptable, and lasting. Growth together also means learning from mistakes. No relationship is free from misunderstandings or failures. But when both partners are willing to reflect, to apologize, and to improve, the bond deepens. A man who says, "This is just how I am, I won't change," closes the door to growth. But a man who says, "I may not be perfect, but I am willing to learn and become better," opens a path of trust and hope. Strong women value this openness because it shows humility and a willingness to build a future together. Think of a journey up a mountain. If one climber races ahead while the other lags behind, the journey becomes lonely and unfair. But if they climb together, helping each other at steep points, encouraging each other when tired, celebrating the view when they reach milestones, the journey becomes meaningful. That is the essence of growth together, not rushing ahead, not dragging behind, but moving forward side by side. Growth together also reflects in shared values and goals. It is not about having identical dreams, but about aligning visions for life. For instance, one may want to focus on career, while the other prioritizes family, but through discussion and mutual support, they grow in harmony. Growth together means finding common ground and walking toward it, even if the steps are different. Ultimately, growth together is about choosing evolution over stagnation. It is about understanding that we are all unfinished works of art, and the beauty of a relationship lies in painting the canvas together. Strong women expect this not because they are demanding, but because they know that without growth, the relationship cannot remain alive. Love without growth is like a song played on repeat until it becomes noise. Love with growth is like an endless melody, always fresh, always inspiring. So when a strong woman says she expects growth together, she is really saying, I want us to rise as partners, not as opponents. I want us to face life as a team, not as two separate individuals. I want us to become better people, not just for ourselves, but for each other. This expectation is not a burden. It is an invitation to become the best version of oneself, while holding the hand of another who is doing the same. That is growth together. That is what sustains love through the years, what makes relationships flourish, and what makes two people not just live together, but truly thrive together. Would you like me to now weave all three expansions, air respect, emotional support, growth together, into one as complete 15-minute speech script with audience engagement, stories, and rhythm in Guru Gopal style? When we talk about the fourth idea, patience is love in silences, we must pause and reflect deeply, because this is one of the most overlooked qualities in relationships and life. Patience may sound simple, but it is a rare treasure. It is not about waiting, it is about how you behave while you wait. Strong women, and indeed all human beings, long for patience because it reflects care, maturity, and emotional depth. It is easy to react, it is easy to lose temper, but patience is what transforms love from words into action. Think about daily life. Imagine a woman who has had a long and exhausting day where everything seemed to go wrong. She returns home, carrying the stress in her mind and body. If her partner greets her with irritation, saying, "Why are you always in a bad mood?" the weight on her heart increases. But if he shows patience, allows her the silence she needs, gives her space without judgment, and perhaps just offers a cup of tea, that patience speaks louder than 100 declarations of love. It says, I understand you. I am here for you, even in your silence. That is patience as love in action. In today's fast world, we are conditioned to want instant results, instant replies, instant success, instant gratification. But relationships are not fast food, they are like slow, cooked meals. They need time, they need patience, and they need silence in moments where words would only create more chaos. Patience is not passive, it is the highest form of active love. It requires restraint, empathy, and wisdom. Strong women respect men who embody patience because it shows inner strength. Anyone can shout when angry, but only a strong heart can hold silence and respond with kindness instead. Anyone can walk away in frustration, but only patience teaches us to stay and work things out. When misunderstandings arise, patience says, let's not rush to conclusions, let's understand each other first. That is how conflicts transform into lessons, and struggles transform into deeper bonds. Patience also shows itself in growth. A woman chasing her dreams may sometimes stumble. She may face failures, delays, or doubts. A patient partner does not criticize her immediately or lose hope. Instead, he says, take your time, I believe in you. Patience here is encouragement without pressure. It tells her that she does not need to be perfect today. and that it is okay to learn slowly. This form of patience allows love to breathe. Think of a garden. If you plant seeds and dig them up every day to check if they have grown, nothing will flourish. But if you water them patiently, wait silently and trust the process, soon you will see beautiful flowers. Love works exactly the same way. Patience is the watering can. Without it, even the strongest relationship will wither. With it, even a fragile bond can blossom into something enduring. Another daily example: communication. Sometimes, when a woman expresses her emotions, they may come out in frustration or anger. At that moment, a man without patience may immediately react, escalate the conflict, and break the peace. But a man with patience listens calmly, allowing the storm to pass, knowing that anger is often just pain in disguise. His silence is not weakness, it is wisdom. Later, when the moment is calmer, he speaks with clarity. That silence saves the relationship from unnecessary wounds. Patience also means allowing space for individuality. In relationships, it is natural that both partners will have different habits, opinions, and ways of doing things. Impatience creates constant friction. Why can't you do it my way? But patience says, I accept your pace, your process, and your personality. That acceptance is love. It allows two people to coexist peacefully, respecting differences instead of fighting them. Strong women expect patience because they know that life is unpredictable. There will be days of joy and days of struggle. There will be achievements and disappointments. A patient partner becomes a steady anchor, someone who does not abandon ship when waves grow high. His patience assures her that love is not seasonal but enduring. Think of a mother with her child. She patiently teaches, repeats instructions, waits for progress, and celebrates small victories. That is patience born out of love. In adult relationships too, patience is the same. It is choosing to wait, to try again, to forgive, and to believe. Love without patience is like a candle without a flame. It cannot light anything. Patience is what gives warmth and light to love. Even in silence, patience speaks. When you refrain from harsh words, you are saying, I value you more than this argument. When you wait for someone to heal without rushing them, you are saying, your pace matters to me. When you allow mistakes without judgment, you are saying, my love is bigger than your flaws. This silent language of patience is the loudest form of love. So, when we say, as patience is love in silence, we are saying that patience is not simply about waiting. It is about respecting another's journey, their struggles, their growth, and their timing. It is love expressed through calmness, understanding, and quiet strength. Strong women expect patience because it reassures them that they can be themselves without fear of judgment, that their emotions will be honored, and that their humanity will be embraced. Patience is not weakness, it is power. It is not about doing nothing, it is about doing everything with grace. It is love that does not rush, does not force, and does not demand. Instead, it stays steady, like a lighthouse in a storm, guiding the way without shouting, simply shining. That is why patience is more than just a virtue. It is love in its purest, most silent, and most powerful form. Would you like me to also us expand 5 in the same style and length so that the full series flows smoothly like a complete inspirational speech? When we reflect on the 5th idea, relationships thrive on mutual growth. we uncover a truth that applies to every partnership, whether personal or professional. A relationship is not a stagnant pond where the water becomes stale and lifeless. It is a flowing river that must keep moving to remain fresh. Mutual growth means that both individuals, not just one, are committed to becoming better, better for themselves, better for each other, and better for the life they are building together. Without growth, love may begin sweet, but soon turns fragile. With growth, love becomes stronger, deeper, and lasting. In daily life, we see many relationships where one person continues to evolve, while the other remains stuck in old patterns. Over time, this imbalance creates distance. A woman may be working hard to learn, to build, to improve, but if her partner dismisses her progress or refuses to grow, a silent wall begins to form. She feels unsupported, and he feels left behind. Mutual growth prevents this from happening. It means both partners are willing to rise together, not in competition, but in collaboration. Take a simple example. One partner decides to live healthier by exercising regularly. If the other mocks the idea, saying, "Why bother? It won't last," that discouragement becomes a roadblock. But if the other says, "That's inspiring, I'll join you," the journey becomes shared and both benefit. That is mutual growth. It is not about doing the same things, but about encouraging each other to rise in their own ways. Strong women value mutual growth because they understand that life constantly changes. Challenges come, financial difficulties, career shifts, family responsibilities. Without growth, these challenges break people apart. But when both are growing, they adapt together, they learn together, and they overcome together. It is not just about surviving hardships, but about using them as stepping stones toward a deeper bond. Think of a garden with two plants side by side. If one plant receives water and sunlight while the other is neglected, the first will grow tall while the second withers. The beauty of the garden is lost because harmony is broken. But if both plants are nurtured, they rise together, their branches intertwining, creating shade and fragrance. Relationships are exactly like that. They thrive only when both partners are nurtured, encouraged, and growing. Mutual growth also means growing emotionally. It is not enough to grow in career or wealth. The heart must also expand in patience, kindness, and empathy. Imagine a woman who is learning to manage her emotions better, practicing calmness in arguments. If her partner refuses to do the same, continuing to lose temper or remain stubborn, the effort feels one-sided. But if he too decides to work on his anger, they both rise in emotional maturity. This makes the relationship stronger because growth is shared. Mutual growth also teaches humility. It allows both partners to admit mistakes, to apologize, and to learn from failures. No one is perfect, but growth means striving each day to improve. A man who says, "This is just who I am, I won't change," closes the door to love's progress. But a man who says, "I'm willing to learn and grow," opens a path of hope. Strong women value this willingness because it reflects courage and humility. The courage to evolve and the humility to admit imperfection. Another daily example comes in the form of dreams. Perhaps she wants to pursue higher studies while he wants to start a business. Mutual growth means cheering for each other, supporting both dreams, and balancing the journey. It is not about one person sacrificing everything while the other rises. It is about finding ways where both can grow, where both feel valued and fulfilled. This balance is what gives a relationship its strength. Mutual growth also strengthens trust. When both are evolving, both feel safe to be vulnerable. They know that their partner will not laugh at their efforts, but will encourage them. This creates a cycle of positivity. One person's growth inspires the other, and together they rise higher than they ever could alone. Love becomes not just about affection, but about inspiration. Think of a mountain climb. Alone, the journey is hard and lonely, but with a partner who climbs alongside, who offers a hand at steep slopes, who cheers when fatigue sets in, the climb becomes meaningful. Reaching the peak together gives joy that individual success never can. That is mutual growth. It transforms challenges into shared victories and turns the journey itself into a celebration. Mutual growth is also about shared values. It is not necessary to have identical goals, but it is important to align in direction. If one partner grows toward kindness, while the other grows toward selfishness, the paths will separate. But if both grow in the direction of love, respect, and wisdom, their journey will always converge, no matter how different the steps may look. Ultimately, mutual growth is not about perfection, but about progress. It is about waking up each day with the willingness to improve, not only for oneself, but for the relationship. Strong women expect this because they know that without growth, even the strongest love will fade. Growth is the soil that keeps the tree of love alive and flourishing. When two people commit to mutual growth, they create a relationship that is unshakable. They do not fear storms because they know they will adapt together. They do not fear time because they know they will evolve together. They do not fear differences because they know they will bridge them together. That is why we say relationships thrive on mutual growth. It is not just about living together, it is about rising together. It is about becoming not only partners in love, but partners in progress. It is about building a bond that does not stand still but flows forward like a river, fresh, alive, and unstoppable. Would you like me to now expand 6 in the same inspiring style, also in 800 words, so the whole speech feels complete? When we reflect on the 6th idea, strong women don't expect perfection, only presence. We come face to face with one of the most liberating truths about love and relationships. Too often, people are caught in the trap of trying to be flawless, perfect looks, perfect words, perfect actions. But the reality is, perfection is an illusion. No one can live up to that standard, and no one needs to. What truly matters, and what strong women deeply value, is presence. The act of being there fully, genuinely, and consistently. Presence means showing up, not just physically but emotionally and mentally. A man may buy the most expensive gift, but if his heart and attention are absent, the gift feels empty. On the other hand, he may simply sit beside her with sincerity and attention, and that moment becomes priceless. Strong women know this difference, and that is why they seek presence, not perfection. Think of daily life. A woman may be sharing her thoughts after a long day. She doesn't need a man who nods absent-mindedly while scrolling through his phone. She needs him to put the phone aside, look into her eyes and listen, truly listen. That is presence. It doesn't demand perfection in response or solution. It only asks for attention, empathy, and care. That simple presence can heal more than 1,000 perfect words ever could. Perfection tries to impress, but presence connects. A man striving for perfection may spend time rehearsing what to say, making sure every action looks flawless, but in the process, he forgets to simply be real. Presence, on the other hand, is about authenticity. It says, I may not have all the answers, I may not do everything right, but I am here, fully with you. Strong women respect this honesty more than any illusion of perfection. Consider an example of parenthood. A father may not be perfect. He may not know how to braid hair neatly, or cook a flawless meal, or always say the right words. But if he is present in his child's life, attending school events, playing, listening, guiding, that presence becomes the greatest gift. The same applies in relationships. A woman doesn't want a flawless partner who never makes mistakes. She wants a present partner who stays through mistakes, learns, and grows. Presence also means consistency. It is not about one grand gesture done once in a while. It is about small, steady actions that show care every day. A morning text, a kind smile, remembering little details. These are simple signs of presence. Strong women expect this because it proves reliability. Perfection may dazzle for a moment, but presence builds trust over a lifetime. Another powerful example is during tough times. When life brings pain, illness, financial stress, loss, a woman doesn't need a man who magically fixes everything like a superhero. She needs someone who sits beside her, holds her hand, and says, "We will get through this together." That presence is far more valuable than any attempt to appear perfect. It shows courage, loyalty, and love in their purest forms. Presence is also about emotional availability. A man can be physically in the room, but mentally elsewhere, lost in worries, distractions, or indifference. Strong women notice this instantly. What they truly desire is someone who is emotionally there, able to share in their joy, to comfort in their sorrow, to encourage in their struggles. Emotional presence is the foundation of deep intimacy. We often glorify perfection in society, perfect bodies, perfect careers, perfect homes. But perfection is often shallow. Presence, however, is profound. A candle does not need to burn perfectly to give light. It simply needs to be there, steady and glowing. Similarly, a man doesn't need to be flawless to be loved. He only needs to be present, consistent, and real. Strong women expect presence because it shows commitment. Anyone can show perfection at the beginning, when love is new and exciting, but only a genuine person can remain present through the ups and downs, through ordinary days and extraordinary trials. Presence proves love more deeply than perfection ever could. Think of a concert. A singer may miss a note or two, but if they sing with heart, the audience feels moved. On the other hand, a technically perfect performance without emotion feels cold and lifeless. Relationships are the same. They don't need perfect notes, they need presence, heart, and authenticity. Presence also means patience in silence. Sometimes, there are no perfect words to comfort someone in pain. In such moments, just sitting quietly beside them is more powerful than any rehearsed speech. Strong women value this kind of presence, the kind that doesn't try to fix everything, but simply stays. When a man chooses presence over perfection, he frees himself too. He no longer has to wear masks or pretend. He can be real, vulnerable, and human. And in that authenticity, he builds trust. Strong women don't demand flawless partners. They embrace real ones who are willing to show up, flaws and all. In the end, presence is love in its purest form. It is saying, I am here, not just in body, but in heart and soul. It is about consistency, attentiveness, and authenticity. Strong women know that perfection fades, but presence endures. Presence is what creates memories, heals wounds, builds trust, and deepens love. So when we say strong women don't expect perfection, only presence, we are saying that love is not about being flawless, but about being faithful. Not about impressing with grand gestures, but about expressing through small, genuine ones. Not about always saying the right thing, but about always being there when it matters most. Presence is the true perfection, and that is all strong women really want. Would you like me to now combine all 6 expanded parts into one polished, full-length speech, so it reads like a continuous inspirational talk in Guru Gopal Das's style?